Good morning, ladies of Precalculus and Bryce and Jose. Welcome again, Route 15, where?
Learning never ends.
Learning never ends. So, after last Friday, talking about all the trigonometric ratios, sine, cosine, tangent, and remember the other three? We had sine, cosine, tangent, and secant, cosecant, and cotangent. All right? So we say in exercise 1 through 8, find the values of all 6 trigonometric functions of the angle theta. And I like to call them, what do I say instead of trigonometric functions, what I like to call them? Instead of functions, what do I like to call them? Trigonometric, starts with an R, ratios. Right, because ratios, to me, is a more explanatory word, explains the situation better. So anyway, basically, you can write these down: sine theta, cosine theta, tangent theta, and what? So they're going to be equal to something. And then you're going to have your reciprocal ratios. And where do you find the reciprocal ratios? ACP formula chart. Somebody said it.
Good job, Chloe.
Yeah, somebody said it. Good job. And so you take that, and so you look at this. It says reciprocal of sine is 1 over cosecant, or cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. And so I'm just going to put cosecant equals theta equals and cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. Now, one mistake I see a lot of students make, and probably at least somebody makes it every year when they write these down, is people will say sine equals, and they'll forget the theta. And a lot of times you're going to see x too, like x can be an angle as well. But they'll forget to put this. They'll just say sine equals, and that's not right, because you have a sentence missing a very important component when you put sine equals. Right?
Sine goes with cosecant and cosecant goes with secant?
Yeah, so these are reciprocals to each other.
Oh, I thought that sine went with secant and cosine went with cosecant, but it's not.
It's not, okay. And where can you find that to be the case?
ACP formula chart.
ACP formula chart, or if you have a TI Inspire calculator, which you do not, because we're using 84s, thankfully. It would also have it there. And I had a good question from Ben on Friday. In a calculator, like, we had this problem here, remember that one? And we said that sine of 37 degrees, oh, my pen's going a little slow, is equal to our opposite over our hypotenuse. Well, he said, well, what if you want to have cosecant? How do you do that? You want sine 37, we know what that is. We can put that in the calculator if our calculator is in degrees, right? But we're not in degrees, so we can change this into degrees. Oops. Change this into degrees. So now we're in degrees. So we can put sine 37 degrees. Well, what if we want to have cosecant 37 degrees? How would you do that, since we don't have a cosecant button on our calculator? Right, we only have sine, cosine, and tangent. How do you get cosecant out of that? Anybody have an idea? I'll show you. Cosecant, what you'll do to get cosecant, you'll put 1 over what? Sine 37. So this thing right here is the cosecant of that.
Mr. G, what are the secant and cosecant in a triangle? Like, what is that? 'Cause I
It's
know-
the reciprocal of sine and cosine.
I know, but like,
What would
if
be-
that's the angle, then is it, I don't know, I'm just confused on what they are, because I know cosine, sine, and tangent.
Oh, I see what
is
you're
the
saying, yeah.
angle.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go over these exercises. Okay, so sine cosine, we know is going to be, sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. And what is our opposite for this one here?
4.
4. So 4, sometimes you can just write this down. For 4 is going to be your opposite, 3 is going to be your adjacent, and then 5 is going to be your hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse is going to be 4 over 5. And the cosecant of theta is going to be the reciprocal of sine. So what is the cosecant going to be? 5 over 4. Okay, the cosine is going to be what? Adjacent over hypotenuse, so 3 over 5. And then secant is going to be the reciprocal, which is 5 over 3. And then tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent, 4 over 3. And cotangent is going to be 3/4. So that's it. Those are your answers. Now, I want to point out something, that sine of theta, the absolute value of sine theta is going to be less than or equal to 1. Okay, what is the cosecant of theta going to be? Absolute value of cosecant of think. It's going to be greater than or equal to 1. Because if this sine is going to be less than or equal to 1, its reciprocal has to be greater than or equal to 1. And similarly, for cosine, absolute value of cosine theta is going to be less than or equal to 1. And absolute value of secant theta is going to be greater than or equal to 1. So these are some things to kind of keep in mind when you look at reasonable answers. And getting back to Addie's question about what these are in the triangle, because to me, it's just, you just turn the fraction upside down. And why is this going to be helpful to us? Any idea? Can't we just get by on sine and cosine and tangent? Probably. But in certain situations in triangles, it's going to help. It might be easier to find a cotangent than a tangent. And I want to explain something here, that it gets down to the definition of what sine and cosine are. Okay, sine of a theta is the opposite over hypotenuse. We get that. But what does cosine stand for? The word cosine. Okay, cosine, I'm going to write it out. What it stands for equals the sine of the complement to theta. What is the complement to theta? What does it mean when we say the complement of theta?
It doesn't mean that added together they equal a certain degree.
exactly, yeah.
But is that degree,
Complement is 90. What does sine mean?
and supplement is 180?
It says the sine of
No, maybe
complement.
compliments.
Yeah, so what that's saying is, in this case, you see the cosine is 3/5?
I see that.
Well, what's the complement of this angle here? No, the complement of this angle is gonna be right here. See that? Because this angle and that one are gonna add up to 90. So what is the sine of this angle here? That is the complement of this angle here. It's going to be 3. The sine of alpha in this case is gonna be opposite, which is 3, over hypotenuse, which is 5. So this is the sine of the complement of this. So that's how they're related to each other. And similarly, this tangent and cotangent, same sort of thing. That you have a tangent of something, but the cotangent is the tangent of the complement of this angle. So if you take the complement of theta, you'll get this alpha, and the tangent of this complement is going to be 3/4. And so what it does, so these reciprocal ratios are going to be easier, are going to help us solve triangles more efficiently, just having those in our arsenal of tools of mathematics, okay? Questions on that one?
Yes.
Okay,
So cosine is the sine of the complement
of
of sine.
theta,
Oh,
of that
theta.
angle,
Of the actual
of that
angle.
angle, yeah.
So why is cotangent the,
Complement of the tangent.
yeah. Because I
Yeah.
thought it was just like with the 3 original ones, so why with tangent you have to go to the other cotangent? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd like to consider these separately, because these are just,
Okay. So
these are
those
more just
separate.
like reciprocals, right? Now, this one here is related in the, because you don't have a cotangent, a co in any of these things here. So these cosecant and secant are kind of just the reciprocals
Okay,
of
so-
sine theta and cosine theta respectively.
I got you.
So where could you said it would be easier in some senses to use the,
Cotangent instead of tangent.
yeah, is there an easy example?
Yeah, I'll show you here. Okay, let's go back to these other ones we were working, like this one right here. Okay, let's say that we don't know what that side is, or that this is going to be our distance, we'll call it here. We don't know that. But let's say we know what the height is. We know the height of this building is 1,000 feet. Okay, so how would we find this? Well, we know that here that we have 65 degrees, and this is going to be our opposite side, right? And this will be our adjacent side, which we don't know. ADJ equals D, we'll call it, unknown. So in this case, we have, we could use cotangent of 65 degrees is equal to our adjacent over our opposite. So it's going to be D over 1,000.
So, but you could use tangent and do 1,000 over D.
Yeah, So in certain instances, it might be, in this case, we'd have D is going to be equal to 1,000 cotangent 65 degrees.
Okay, so it's just easier sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. So that's a purpose, so you can write it this way, so it might make it a little easier to solve.
Oh, it's just because it puts the. Okay,
Put your
I
unknown, you can put your unknown in the
Something
numerator.
like- Got it.
Yeah,
Understood.
so that's a reason for it. But see, this ends up being the reciprocal anyway, so if in your calculator, this is still going to be 1,000 over tangent 65 degrees anyway, right?
Yeah, but it's easier to just look at and do when you.
Yeah.
Yeah, understood.
So to find out what that is, we can just go to calculator, so we can put at 1,000 over tangent 65 degrees, which is the same as times the, so that's going to be that distance, that horizontal distance. Okay? Yeah, so you'll have your way of working these things out, but in this exercise set, we're just mainly just getting what the ratios themselves are. So I should go ahead and work those. I will call on somebody to help us out with this in 3 minutes.
We're just trying to find theta?
No, you're trying to find sine theta, cosine theta, tangent theta, cosecant theta, secant theta, cotangent theta.
Oh, it's square root.
Yeah, it's square root.
We're working on one.
Yeah, it's 10 points.
Oh, I wrote the there. Cot theta? Exactly. There's just questions that say find cotangent of this. Is that?
Well, I don't know. Necessary, but it's
Maybe, maybe if you're trying to find like certain angles, and you know that the complement of this equals 180 or something, or the complement equals 90.
well, you always know that this theta and this, if it's right angle, you always know that theta and the other one equals 90.
Yeah, so, but sometimes I feel like we're just doing like angles for a reason. But I feel like some triangles aren't wrong.
These are just our numbers. My friends.
I can't see.
Mine's not very good. I'm pretty sure it's good.
Okay, this one here, we have Atley, you are the one,
Number 2.
number 2.
Oh, Mr. Judy, can we calibrate that?
Yes, let's say recalibrate, recalibrate,
Recalibrate.
recalibrate.
And press the set.
Here, it's just,
Do I use my finger or do I use the pen?
you can use your finger too. You might be able to get it more accurate.
What is your Spanish helper? Espanol, something?
So do you do it?
Duolingo?
Okay, that's fine.
Duolingo?
So we're reading it.
I've seen Mr. Duval.
He's mean on TikTok. You never heard of that?
Yeah, I've seen that face.
He's on TikTok. I've used him before he got super big, like 3 years ago. And I used him to learn French. And then I quit learning French in French school. And then I started learning Spanish. I started Spanish, then I got quit. And then now I go back and all my things are broken.
Is
If
it
you
like a
don't do it.
full, mine's a full course.
Oh, yeah.
So you start from that.
Yeah, it starts from there. And then if you, the one thing I like
The
about
only thing I
it,
don't like about it is the way words are saying.
I was just gonna say, like, if you're clearly already know it, like, after 3 times of being like perfect, it just like clears it all for you and sends you to the next unit. So like, if you clearly know it, you don't have to go through a bunch of repetitive rules.
Okay, how's that, does that look good? Does she have the right answers up there?
Yes, it looks kind of like marble and like restaurant, like it's just words instead of like details.
Okay, good job, all right. Go on to number 3.
Or my school takes me words like in this. See when I know.
Well, because I'm scared you're actually gonna do it.
Okay, what do you notice about number 3?
All I have to do is like,
I have
it's like different.
What do you notice about number 3?
Like,
Okay, I want to point out, I'm going to call somebody in a minute, but number 3, you have your orientation of theta differently, don't you?
Yes,
So you got to pay attention to that, don't you?
that's right.
So here's going to be your opposite, it's going to be down
It
here.
doesn't give us our hypothesis.
Yes, 5 doesn't give you your hypotenuse, right? So that's another layer of complexity. But I want to get to 3 and 4 first. So let's get to number 3.
Everything's in red.
Okay, for number 3, we have, okay, we have plus.
Yes. Learning never ends.
On my discussion thing, Earhart was like, good discussion. Good discussion.
she's like, thank you.
Yeah, good discussion. I mean, I'll take the 100, but just good discussion.
What did you do, Chloe?
Good discussion.
For the journal?
The shroud?
Yeah.
The shroud?
No, for the journal. For the journal.
Ah.
Yeah, I haven't done the discussion yet.
Eddie, did you do the moral of the story one?
The learning thingy is.
Yeah.
Did you read the monkey one?
Monkey?
Did you read the monkey and the dolphin?
Monkey and the dolphin.
Yeah, did you read all of them? Did you just read one?
I read the lion, the
Which one
lion
did
in
y'all
them.
pick?
I read the
I didn't
dinner
know
party.
Oh, we picked already.
Maybe y'all are in a different class.
No, you're in my same class.
Yeah, me and you are in the class, and she is too. I don't believe.
Have you done the assignment though?
But you know what class this is, don't you? Right? Or supposed to be, or supposed to be.
Shroud, dinner party, and draw please and the lion.
Did you do the moral of the story one?
Yeah, and it was about the shroud.
No, that wasn't about the shroud.
No, the moral of the
That
story
was the
gave you
discussion.
3 different.
Oh, no, I haven't done that. I haven't done that
Oh.
assignment yet. I did the other one. Sorry, Mr. G. Have you read the shroud?
Mr. G, did you like your English class in college?
Yeah, I did. I had one English class in college,
Just one?
just one, yeah. It's called creative writing. I had,
What?
Oh, no.
it was English 101.
Science.
I'm gonna change colors.
I want to know the moral of the story. I haven't done the.
I haven't done that statistics, and I bought that yesterday, because I always do my work on Sunday.
Mr. G?
No.
Gotten out of adjustment, yeah, I see that.
I always do it kids, Sunday, sweet.
Maybe it's because I switched
So
colors.
she doesn't unlock me until Monday,
Maybe, I
my
don't
first 3 classes of the day, she's busy.
But I think the heater just came on, maybe that was it.
Oh.
Yeah, the heater just came on.
Oh, no.
Through the,
Here, I'll
let me
just
just go, here, you go ahead, I'll write them for you. You tell me if it's, or you want, go, yeah, go ahead and do it.
Because it always makes it better.
I will do tomorrow, but I'm.
So do you need a TV?
Say, oh, just put it up for
No.
I don't know about need a TV, but it would be helpful.
But it gets.
Hey, I put off the journal.
It would be helpful.
Not really.
I was about to say, Cheryl was like, I should put it in the journal.
I'm gonna fix
It's
it.
not a journal.
Ow.
It's wrong.
Eddie. Yes.
Mr. G!
The heater's on, I'll tell you what, here,
Here, I'll write up here and,
no, here,
Mr. G, it's working. Kinda.
yeah, well,
The dinner party. What is the dinner party?
Ow.
Why is stuff still locked?
I like the
Good,
dinner
thank
party.
you.
The dinner party
The dinner party
is
is locked.
okay, is this correct?
I read it.
Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes.
No, there's something about it, I gotta be critical, something about it that's not right.
Well, let me look.
Wait,
Let me look.
What I want you, I know what she meant, but what it is,
Is it the one over?
it's not minus, sine theta minus, or it's equals, right?
Equal, Addie.
Equals, right? I know what she meant the right thing, didn't she?
Yeah.
But she put, what I want you to do in situations like this is to do that, or another way you can write this is sine theta. You can write a colon here too, right? 12/13ths. And another thing is that, can you make fractions diagonal like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay, Eddie.
Yeah, if you're gonna use them to multiply by something and convert units, I'd rather you put the fractions horizontal, the
Sorry.
vinculums, but no, it's okay. I'm just pointing out some things, that's all. All right, good work. Questions on that? Okay.
No, he did on purpose.
So number 4, I'll choose somebody for number 4 in half a minute. Another thing I'm trying to do with a little bit starting today is I'm going to try to maybe use different names for nicknames. You know, I think some initials might be pretty good just for a change.
LD.
Yeah, LD is one of them. Yeah.
KJ.
Uh-huh. KJ, BC. BC is a good one. Good, KJ is good too. The thing that really helps if the second letter is a consonant.
AW.
Oh, is that
VC sounds good, VC.
L.
VC.
I was hearing BC at first, I'm like, yeah, that's
Okay.
this one.
For this one here, we have CF.
Where
Right?
Where are your?
That's what I'm saying, I should have bought all
GL.
those three, I was gonna
Gabby,
do
Gabby.
the white ones first, and then
I don't like the way Jill
the only way that's going down.
AS.
You don't like it? I don't either. I think it should just be H.
I don't like
You
it.
get red. You just ate that.
That doesn't sound good.
Okay, so we were at
CF.
dinner with the whole family and the sons, and we were talking about cussing out.
Kids.
We were talking about. We were talking about Miss Hauser and like this girl cussed Miss Hauser out in his grade. I was like, someone cussed Addie out in Miss Hauser's class, and I was like, Jordan Rosewood and Miss Rosewood was done, and they're like, what does she look like? And I was like, well, she looks like DW from Archer. They pulled up a picture of DW.
I remember that? I didn't know what to say, I just looked at her.
What did you say?
She said,
Do you have Jordan Rosewinkle in class?
no, it said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like,
first period.
Yeah.
I think she said something else, and I was
Why
like,
did she say
That's
that?
right there where
I was
VC.
doing something. I was just like being loud or something, and she kept saying, would you be quiet? Would you be quiet? And I was like, no. And then she was like, well, you know what?
She-
No. She said,
What did she say? Oh, yeah.
that's what she said. And I was like, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And Miss Hauser was like, Jordan. You said that word before.
Right, Jordan.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good job,
thank you.
Chloe.
And these over here are eights.
Yes. Yeah, the board is a little out of whack.
This is me. If you're gonna be critical about mine, you have to be critical about those eights.
The board was out of whack, you didn't have to mess with that.
Yeah, what is that?
Don't have that, decide they want to lose.
Okay?
And look, I,
Like 2 zeros.
no, it's not, your eyes are deceiving you.
I thought it
I
was
hate
too.
that.
I thought tangent was opposite over
No.
Yeah, I thought tangent was opposite over. So is it tangent supposed to be 8 over 3? Yeah.
And tangent's gonna be 8 over 4.
And then the last one will be 15 over 8, except H.
Yeah.
You can fix it.
Let's fix those, okay? I'll fix them.
So D's got it. Did I do it wrong on this one? Because I was wrong with it.
They're happy.
No,
I don't know if it's opposite over. And it's opposite over. Yeah,
So now these are fixed, right?
Original.
something mint.
All right, is that right? Is that better now?
Asking you, we
Good, good.
You had to do it in right. So he
Okay.
Okay,
What is, alright, so. It's like red, like dark red,
Okay, for this one here, you don't have a hypotenuse, so you have to do a little bit of discovery for this. And basically, a way to do this is you can write the hypotenuse is going to be equal to the square root of both of these squared, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So square root of 170 is the way you could write that. And so square root of 170. And then once you have that, it's pretty easy from there, right?
so easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I will call somebody for that
There
one.
was a name Pythagoras. That's wrong, sing it.
There was.
There was a dude Pythagoras in 500 BC, master of philosophy, music, geometry. Found that you could take the square of both sides of a right angle, they'll be the square diagonal across any rectangle.
Yeah.
The sides of both sides of a right angle, you call them A and B.
Yeah.
The diagonals, they'll have hypotenuse, but you can call it C.
Yeah.
You take A squared and B squared and you add them both together. Now you have what C squared is. You'll learn to do this better.
Ooh.
That was clean.
A squared plus B squared
Oh,
equals
it's not
C
done.
squared. But C squared minus A squared equals B squared.
That's good, Mr. G.
So now we have for number 5, we have,
I think KJ.
Not that bad. It's easy. Just understand.
And now,
it is actually KJ.
you know,
It is KJ?
It is KJ.
and now you're,
Wow.
and
It
now,
doesn't.
no, I was just trying to calm you down and say, hey.
Yeah, and the heater's gone off since then, so I don't know how the adjustment just, Yeah, it's-
I never said the worst one, that's not that.
yeah. The heater's off right now, so if we adjust it and the heater's
Realize that.
stays off,
You're doing good.
probably get it all right. Let's try it.
We have to calibrate this every 5 minutes. What did you say?
So as long as that heater stays off, we're probably okay.
I was doing fine. I was just super stressed out last week. Like, it was I've been rested and going shopping helps.
Right, and it should work better. A little better, yeah. No?
That was.
Yeah, how much will
Okay.
It's a high school. And if you're not at sophomore school.
Have you seen the district website? You get a picture of there's Kendall and Natalie there.
Oh, yeah, I have.
Did you take that?
I didn't take it, it was part of this walk.
You just thought it was pretty cool?
Yeah, it was a good action picture. of
Good
Kendall
picture of
and
me,
Natalie.
Kendall, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Mr. G, how do you find the adjacent? You should,
It's
you should.
Hayden Hamel.
Hayden Hamel.
I'm taking it down.
Yeah, your adjacent is the one right next to you, so here's your
This one, we should
adjacent.
write down.
Well, on
What-
the next one, how do you?
What I do is I get the opposite first,
Uh-huh.
and the remaining leg will be the adjacent. Or adjacent right next to this, right? Not on the opposite side, right next to it.
A squared plus B squared
He won't, I don't
equals
think
C
it's going to
squared.
red shoe. I don't think it's
C squared minus A squared equals
Just say there's
B
something
squared.
dirty on the wall.
So you just want, what's that? Like,
Hey, now, flexing.
Yeah.
Now, one thing she's doing with her little theta symbols, she's making them a little diagonalized, which is okay, people write it that way
That's like
sometimes.
a zero, that's like a zero. You have to be critical, Mr. G.
Just watch, we know what it is. There is actually an angle that is a little different than theta that's like that, but it's still a Greek letter.
This now?
It's good. It's still good.
Chloe, whatever you're doing.
It's not a bad word, I just heard.
Boy.
All right.
That was the hardest
Thanks.
thing.
Daddy!
Thank you.
Did you say a bad word?
Me?
just said a bad word.
What did I
Okay,
say?
questions on this one?
No, sir.
Okay.
That was the hardest thing to write ever for my entire life.
Oh, because it's out of line.
Yes.
Jordan wrote
Kendall.
multiple said bad words.
Kendall, that handwriting.
I know.
You said multiple bad words.
Nope, just
But
one.
it's,
Actually, you,
our,
you said that.
Yeah, you said it first.
Really?
She's bad, she flips everyone off.
No way.
Yes.
Don't talk about this.
She would do that person. Oh, no, she actually does. Yeah, I know.
She flips it. Last year she flipped.
Maybe she didn't like the nickname I gave her. I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
that's what it is. We have no.
Maybe she didn't like people calling her
You
Jojo.
should call it JoJo Siwa. I saw a girl posting about how attractive JoJo Siwa
Okay.
is, and I was like,
we'll get to one more today.
Isn't she like 16? 17?
No, she's like 18.
yeah, she's like 18 or 19 now.
Oh,
But she's gay.
Okay, number, this one here we have VC.
Jordan came up to you in the hallway. He was like, you know this number.
We have VC.
Like, oh, plug it in.
How do you find the adjacent? Is it different, or do you do the same thing?
I'm older than you.
C squared.
Yeah, a squared minus b squared. They said it. Good, you remember the
Oh, so
song?
you subtract that.
Mr. G, I sang the whole thing a second
Man,
ago.
wasn't that beautiful? You just, oh, just.
I don't know what A is.
Now that was just gorgeous.
C squared minus. So you're going through the whole,
6 minus 8 and 8
It
minus
doesn't
6.
matter.
It's gonna make a
You
difference.
pinched me.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the same.
It's right
Mr. G,
in
which one's A,
the
which one's B?
Yeah, how do you know what's
Just
A?
A height.
C squared minus a squared. If you have the, here it goes. If you have the a and c and then to get the b, then you take a squared and subtract it from squared c.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's
So it's
the
A
b.
squared minus 6.
Twice now.
So if you have, then you take a squared and subtract it from squared c.
And is it gonna be square rooted, or is it just A?
So b is going to be equal to,
Square root of 28.
all right. So she may put this up tomorrow. I want to tell you something that's happening. Tomorrow,
Oh.